College of Journalism and Communications at the University of Florida. This is the Reptile Report.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Reptile Report. I'm Hannah Mack.
And I'm Andrea Casiblanco. Today we will take a look at Florida baseball and the club jiu-jitsu team.
Plus, Nick Abreu joins us for Gator Bites.
Gator fans had the opportunity to get their first look at the new Florida football team for the 2024 season. The orange and blue spring game had just about everything a fan could ask for in an experience. Reptile Report's Matt Rothman took a look at the fan experience for the orange and blue game.
The orange and blue spring football game is marked on the calendars of many fans due to various reasons. Whether it's to see the Gators football team for the first time this year or to see the quality of the freshman recruiting class, there are many reasons as to why fans come to the orange and blue game. However, for this year's spring game, there might be an even bigger reason for why fans came to watch the game.
A lot of the feedback I got from people that were there was it was about as close as a Saturday in the fall feel that you could get. Like there was buzz around campus. There was tailgates early on in the day, like there was a regular season football game. So I do think it gave the players, especially the players that were there for the first time, these true freshmen or these transfers, give them that kind of game day atmosphere.
Just over a year ago, Florida Victorious became the new NIL collective in hopes to reform UF's NIL efforts. Gators breakdown David Waters talks about the benefit with talking to athletes and getting to know them more as a result of this NIL deal.
I think a lot of fans throughout the years have wanted, hey, we want to hear more from players. We want to hear, their stories, and you don't get that in a press conference setting all the time. So what Florida Victorious has been able to do is bring that access, whether it be on my podcast or somebody else's podcast, and we get to sit down with the players for 30 minutes. And yes, a lot of it's about football, but I like to ask them crazy questions that you would just get to know the people, not just a football player.
The post-game meet and greet proved to be really good for the fan experience during that game. High Top Sports' David Soderquist was on the field during that time and talked about how that enhanced the fan experience.
Had tables all around the stadium. Like, it was in a circle. They had Billy Napier in the middle. And I thought it was really cool that they gave the opportunity for fans to just step out there on the field. There's a lot of fans that haven't been out there on that field. So that's just a plus in itself. That is an exciting thing to do in itself.
The orange and blue spring football game provided fans with such great experiences for all of them. Even with that, though, this fall season is upon us. Florida football has 3 straight losing seasons, which has left fans feeling very negative about the team. What can this team do to respond and get fans feeling a lot more positive again?
I hate saying Billy Napier time that they're tired of saying that, but I would say at least give him time for this year. Like, you don't have to give him time for 2025, 2026, 2027. Give him time for this year. Yes, he had a bad start. He's starting to fix things from the coaching aspect.
So I think look at Florida's performance early on in the season. If Florida beats Miami and then a couple weeks later Texas A&M rolls into here and you got 2 big wins to start the season, don't be surprised if this team turns that into confidence to build a whole lot of momentum for Billy Napier's 3rd season.
After finishing below 500 for the last 3 seasons, fans are hoping that this team can play with much more momentum going into this season. The first game is against Miami at home on August 31st. The first win of the season will be very important for the Gators, as that can create momentum and help them roll along into the season. From Reptile Report, I'm Matt Rothman.
The Florida Gators baseball team held high expectations for themselves this season, but lately the team has struggled to play up to that standard. Despite the adversity, the Gators are determined to turn things around and finish the season strong. Here is reporter Austin Sterling with more.
With the college baseball regionals approaching in roughly a month's time, the Florida Gators baseball team will need to quickly turn things around in order to move up in a crowded and competitive Southeastern Conference.
The Gators currently sit with a record of 19-17 and 7-8 in SEC play prior to their weekend series versus Vanderbilt.
That record leaves them tied with Georgia for 5th place in the SEC Eastern Division, which is far from where the Gators expected to be at the start of this season. Despite recent struggles, the team has done its best to stay composed and maintain its confidence during this stretch. Head coach Kevin O'Sullivan spoke a little bit about that confidence and his mindset going forward.
I mean, it's human nature that, when things aren't going your way, obviously, losing confidence is part of it, right? So, coaching, it's easy when things are going well, right? I mean, this is why we get in this profession to kind of work through things like this. And like I said, we're going to continue to work through it. But today was a positive day.
Junior outfielder Ty Evans also gave his insight on these struggles and what the team needs to do going forward to adjust.
Yeah, I mean, we had a rough go for a few weeks offensively and just trying to adjust. I feel like everyone was just trying to do so much in like one swing and just trying to make stuff happen every single pitch instead of just battling and having good at-bats. So I feel like that's one thing as a whole that we changed a lot this weekend and really today. So hopefully we can just keep doing that moving forward.
These adjustments, as well as players stepping up into key roles that they may not normally find themselves in, are going to be crucial for the Gators' success going forward. Gators pitcher and first baseman Jack Caglione touched on the importance of freshman players, especially pitcher Luke McNeely, stepping up for the team during this time.
Yeah, I mean, I can't be more proud of the way Luke's kind of flipped the script, from the beginning of the year. He looks like a totally new pitcher, and, he's doing exactly what we need him to do. These freshmen, they know that they're going to have to hold a lot of weight this year. So really just kind of getting that through to them and having them buy into what we want to do here is probably going to be the best thing.
One of the most recent adjustments made by Coach Sullivan has been moving Evans to the leadoff spot in the order, where he has found some early success. Coach Sullivan spoke about Evans' impressive adjustment to his new role.
I thought he was responding well. I talked about it, that was one of the things I talked about this morning with the group, is that it's not easy to, put a guy in the leadoff spot or change, where they hit in the order, because sometimes they try to change their approach, that type of thing. But I compliment him on the way he handled it, and obviously he had a really good weekend offensively for us.
Evans also spoke about his approach and mindset at the plate in the leadoff spot.
I honestly haven't changed a whole lot. Last week or two, I wasn't really swinging the bat that well, but Friday night I felt a lot better. Felt like more like myself, and honestly maybe just like a little bit more bearing down and competing in the leadoff spot maybe, but really I didn't try to change too much. I just tried to stick to my same approach and worked out pretty well this weekend.
Despite all of the ups and downs this season has brought, there is no denying that this Florida team still holds a strong and resilient bond with one another. Caglione briefly explained what this bond means to him and what his mindset is entering what is likely to be the final few months of his career with the Orange and Blue.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just taking it day by day. I give anything to play with these guys for as long as possible. Everybody puts hard work in, and we all want to get to the same place at the end of the year. We're all really close. So it's definitely a bond that you probably won't see again for a while, but, I don't want to get emotional talking about it.
With Reptile Report, I'm Austin Sterling.
This Saturday, the 9th-ranked University of Florida women's lacrosse team will finish its regular season at home after a big win against JMU 2 weeks ago. The Gators are undefeated at home this season and hope to win the conference tournament and NCAA playoffs next month. Reptile Report's Eric Keplinger recaps the season.
The Florida Gators women's lacrosse team has had a long history of success, dating back to its founding in 2010. Over the past 15 years, the team has won the conference championship across multiple conferences and made the playoffs every single year, except for their debut season and in 2020's shortened season. This year is no different for the Gators. They find themselves 14-12 and on top of the standings in the American Athletic Conference. They have the longest active win streak in the country with 14 straight wins, and a home win streak of 13 games. The team recently had a huge win against JMU in a rematch of last year's AAC Conference Championship game. Throughout the season, the Gators have had the best scoring offense in the country, scoring an average of 20 goals per game in games in which they win. Additionally, they have a top 10 defense, with their opponents scoring an average of 8 goals a game. Their skill is highlighted in the fact that the Gators lead the country across multiple stat categories. The person who's been leading the Gators ever since the team's founding is head coach Amanda O'Leary, who is an acclaimed member of the National Lacrosse Hall of Fame. She is also regarded as one of the best coaches in the nation, with a career winning percentage of 76%. O'Leary has led Florida to 7 NCAA quarterfinal appearances. This season has been one to remember for the team's 16 seniors and graduate students. A few of them are standout players that have contributed greatly to the team over the past few years. Maggie Hall is arguably the best player on the roster for the Gators. She leads the team in points scored this season and is top 15 in the country in assists. She is also the program's all-time assist leader. Additionally, she has 10 games this season where she is 100% for shots on goal. Emily Heller is a graduate player and has been one of the best players on the team throughout her career. Last year, she ranked in the top 15 in the league across multiple per-game stat categories. This year, she has continued to be a valuable contributor for the team. A season highlight of hers is scoring the game-winning goal in overtime to take down number 5 Maryland. Danielle Pavanelli is another veteran of the team and is 5th all-time for the Gators in career points. This season, she leads the team with 31 goals and is 2nd in assists and points. Additionally, she has had 5 or more points in 8 games this season. A season highlight of hers is being featured on SportsCenter Top 10 in late February with her behind-the-back running goal against Jacksonville.
Come on.
Liz Harrison is the team's starting draw control specialist and is currently top 2 in the nation in draw controls after leading the Stadiums for most of the season. This year, she has passed several milestones. Harrison has reached over 300 career draw controls, set a program record with 19 draw controls in a game, and has won 10 or more in 9 consecutive games. Florida faces Temple at home this Saturday for its final home game of the season. Then, the Gators will travel to Nashville to play in the AAC Championship Tournament, where they are favored to win their 13th straight conference championship. Finally, the first and second rounds of the playoffs are expected to be held here in Gainesville once again in mid-May. The Florida Gators women's lacrosse team is looking for their first ever national championship. For Reptile Report, I'm Eric Keplinger.
Coming up on the Reptile Report, Matt Rothman takes us to the Orange and Blue game.
And Nick Abreu gives us an update on NFL draft Ricky Pearsall.
Welcome back to the Reptile Report.
The club sports scene at UF provides a variety of options for fun new ways to make friends and stay active, but many may be unaware of one option in particular. Dylan Olive goes on site to look into a relatively unheard of club, Jiu-Jitsu, and their pitch for new members.
Another thing that I do? Oh, triangle! Oh, what a transition. Violence is not often accepted on the University of Florida campus, but here at Southwest Rec Center 2, it's welcome.
The UF Jiu-Jitsu Club may not be well known around campus, but the bonds being created on their practice mats are invaluable.
Well, it's pretty great to have friends that you're constantly trying to beat up or getting beat up by all the time. It's an interesting relationship. It really gets you close to people, strangely enough.
The club is based off of managed violence, as members spend the hours of their practice, quote-unquote, beating each other up. Yet, at the end of the day, it brings them closer together.
It's a very intimate relationship where you're strangling each other and trying to break each other's limbs off every single day, and you have a lot of trust built up with everybody that you roll with, and the more you roll with someone, the better friends you become.
Despite the strong relationships that the members build, their team is not very well known. The club is not currently labeled a sports club at UF, making it hard to find new members and leading to current members ready to make their pitch.
If we made it into a sport club, we'd be on the Rec Sports website, so we could have a lot more members join, which would be fantastic. And we could travel as a team to competitions and get funding, which would be really exciting.
That'd be super important. It'd be way better for advertising and room reservations and funding, and then we can go to more tournaments and stuff and cover travel. All great. 2 thumbs up.
Though jiu-jitsu may seem menacing to newcomers, the club recommends all give it a try.
Can't recommend it enough if you're looking for a fun way to stay active. Really recommend it to girls, especially to feel more comfortable in any kind of self-defense style situation. It'll help. It'll give you a lot of self-confidence once you start coming consistently.
And ladies, if you don't believe him, maybe you will believe the sole woman member of the club.
As every woman should join jiu-jitsu. In my opinion, I mean, it's great exercise, you have a great community, and you just feel so much more confident in your abilities to defend yourself, especially after you've been here for a while.
Despite your experience, gender, or size, the Jiu-Jitsu Club wants you to be their next member.
We need more people to come roll with us. Jiu-Jitsu will change your life. It'll help you in every aspect, mentally, physically, spiritually, whatever.
The more friends we strangle, the better.
That's right.
For Reptile Report, I'm Dylan Oliver.
UF's Club Pickleball has strived to grow the sport in Gainesville. Reptile Report's Che Johnson has more about the club.
Pickleball is one of the fastest growing sports in America, and here at the University of Florida, their pickleball club has had a ton of success. President William Wu tells us how he got into pickleball.
Of course. So growing up, I played tennis for about like a couple of years. I want to say 7 years. Didn't really enjoy tennis all that while, and at first I really didn't think of pickleball as like a legit sport. I'm sure like not everyone did as well, but my mom started playing it because she's growing older, like and her knees are getting bad. So just her playing pickleball, she's like, oh, I'll come try it out. So I did, got into it, like saw like the enjoyment of it, and that's how I really got into pickleball.
However, players playing pickleball must be able to handle pressure or tough situations on the court.
Pressure, tough situations, I gotta try and get out of my own head because I really do get in my own head. So I have to take a second and like maybe talk to my partner if it's something I know well, and just maybe make a game plan and work through it and work through the points and take my time and play patiently and not get like rush the points and start losing.
In the city of Gainesville, the game of pickleball has been a big sport. And here at the flavor-filled pickleball court, I'm going to be talking to some of the UF pickleball players to talk about why they were so inspired and motivated to play the game of pickleball.
Even though UF Club Pickleball don't get enough attention, players want people to know the aspects of the sport itself, whether it's the social aspect, competition, or skill development.
The friendship and the teamwork that has to go into making the team, function. And the camaraderie that's around there. It really is a big community with the paddles and everything around it. It's very friendly, and I think it's very welcoming.
With the club continuing to provide opportunities for students to learn more about the sport of pickleball and create connections within the University of Florida, we wish them the best of luck in their future endeavors. For Reptile Report, I'm Che Johnson.
Buchholz High School softball is having a season for the books. After only winning a combined 11 games the past 2 seasons, I spoke with the team about recent improvements and big-time wins. Buchholz softball is about halfway through their season and have already won more games than the previous 2 years. The Bobcats have an 8-6 record with notable rivalry wins over Eastside and PK Young. However, the biggest victory came against Gainesville High School. Senior captain Amelia Collins says that this was a huge win for the team, especially since the team hadn't beaten the Hurricanes since 2014.
The first time we played GHS, we lost by like 10. And so this was kind of a shocker for us to run rule them the way that we did. And I think a big part of that was the team's chemistry and the team's like their energy in the dugout. Like there wasn't a moment, even when we were down in the first inning, there wasn't a moment where we were like, we can't come back from this, like we're not going to win. The entire time we knew that we could beat them and we knew that we would, and that we just need to keep doing what we were doing.
After only losing 2 seniors last year, the Bobcats are very well acquainted with each other. Seniors Taylor McLean and Morgan Campbell say that this season is personal and a long time coming.
Well, I feel like personally Buchholz has always had the drive and energy and strive to do well and perform well in these games. But I feel like this year in particular, we just have a great group of girls who love the game and who really strive to win. And I feel like that determination and motivation has really pushed us to the finish line.
This season has really just been a more personal season, especially since it is our senior season. So looking back on like my freshman year and my sophomore year, our record was really low. And not only like was the record low, I think that we were just kind of tired, and there was a lot of different things that we probably could have fixed as a team. But this year I feel like our chemistry is amazing. Like I love every single one of these girls, and we always kind of bring each other up instead of like talk down on each other. I think that's something that every team should have.
Head coach Will Hooper says the difference between last year and this year's squad is that the girls believe in themselves and have a lot more confidence.
It's been a great start to our season so far. We have a lot of talented girls, and I think the difference of this year compared to the previous years is they're starting to finally believe in themselves and have a little bit of confidence.
Coach Hooper and the Bobcats look to grow this program in the coming years and put Buchholz softball back on the map. For the Reptile Report, I'm Hannah Mack.
Jeff Cardozo is known by most as a baseball commentator and former Florida Gators pitcher. But off the diamond, Reptile Report's Thomas Kennedy uncovers Cardozo's deep commitment to family and philanthropy.
Jeff Cardozo is a well-known broadcaster, baseball commentator, and former pitcher for the Florida Gators. Yet today, you can still see him around Gainesville.
And I'm here at Buchholz High, seeing what other than broadcasting that Jeff does.
First and foremost, he is a father.
He taught me how to throw, taught me how to run, pitch, basically everything. He's the biggest guy in my life and biggest help. He pushes my ass in school. He makes me strive for the best. He does everything. He's just really good guy.
I have the opportunity to kind of be able to coach my son. He's a senior now in high school here in Gainesville. Tonight was senior night, so an opportunity to get out and really just support him. It's kind of surreal. I've been coaching him since he was 5 years old. Actually, about probably 6 or 7 of the kids that were a part of the senior ceremonies tonight were all kids that I took to Cooperstown when they were 12 years old.
Ultimately, after many years in the area, what keeps Jeff around is the Gainesville community.
But I fell in love with the community, and the opportunity to be around here and try to make an impact is really special to me.
Of the many titles Jeff possesses, philanthropist is one of the most important.
The people of Gainesville are great. You start to see that. I've been able to MC a gazillion charity events, help raise a ton of money for a lot of different groups throughout the last 20-25 years, and it's something really special.
Jeff loves what he does and has no plans of changing.
I got to go to Omaha once as a player, but I've now been 9 times as a broadcaster and hang out and be around the best people of college baseball. It's something I never want to stop doing.
For the Reptile Report, I'm Thomas Kennedy.
Coming up on the Reptile Report, Nick Abreu joins us for Gator Bites.
Stay tuned as we learn what Ricky Pearsall's career looks like after the swamp.
The NFL Draft starts on Thursday, and in this week's Gator Bites, Nick Abreu analyzes former Gator Ricky Pearsall's mock draft positions and shares his thoughts on where he thinks he should land.
Welcome to Gator Bites. I'm Nick Abreu. The top talent in college football are getting ready for the pros, with the NFL Draft starting on Thursday. Gator fans will turn their attention to receiver Ricky Pearsall's landing spot. After almost reaching 1,000 yards in his final season with Florida and a strong combine, Pearsall is listed as the number 10 receiver and number 44 prospect overall on ESPN's big board. In most mock drafts, he is projected to go in the late second round or early third round. He might go under the radar for most NFL fans, but Gator fans know that Pearsall brings a quick, speedy skill set that's useful to any team. And he is more than capable of adjusting to the ball and making spectacular catches. He's a dangerous weapon in the slot and can be a safety blanket for NFL quarterbacks. And don't forget his returning ability with the new kickoff rules. There are a few teams with needs at receiver coming into this draft, but I think my favorite fit for Pearsall is Kansas City at pick 64 at the end of the second round. At pick 32, the Chiefs won't be in range to get one of the top receivers in the draft, but 64 is around the hotspot for that second tier, which includes Pearsall. We saw last season how Patrick Mahomes was able to get rookie Rashee Rice involved with a similar skill set. Now, with Rice in legal trouble, Pearsall would fit right into that role. From Pearsall's perspective, it has to be more than attractive. He would get to work with the top QB in the league and would immediately compete for a Super Bowl. Another good option would be going back to his home state in Arizona at pick 66 or 71. They don't really have any notable receivers on their roster right now and will probably pick up Marvin Harrison Jr. or another top receiver at pick 4. If they can also add Pearsall, they immediately have a good young core of receivers that fits the time frame of Kyler Murray and leaves cap space for some other upgrades. That's all for Gator Bites. Let's get back to the desk.
This past weekend, over 50 youth travel basketball teams participated in Hoop Fest at the Alachua County Sports and Events Center. Teams from Florida and Georgia played in the two-day tournament held right here in Gainesville. Reptile Report's Nick Abreu made it out to the event to talk to some of the people involved and met with one of the local teams competing.
Gainesville Hoop Fest tipped off on Saturday, attracting talented players of all ages. Over 500 players participated in the competition at the Alachua County Sports and Events Center at Celebration Point.
It's a travel basketball tournament from teams to the Southeast United States. We have approximately 50 teams today, ages from the 3rd grade all the way through varsity high school.
Chiropractor by day, Eric McTurius spends his nights and weekends on the court. Driven by his passion for basketball, he organizes clinics and trainings for youth players at Rad Sports. Hoop Fest is run by his team, where McTurius puts them to work to raise money to travel across the country for competitive tournaments. While players use the opportunity to showcase their skills, he strives to teach life lessons through the game.
The training here is basketball is real short, right? But the attitude, the drive, the will to win, the effort is all about life, right? So we're teaching the kids that after this basketball, compete for a job, compete for a career, compete for life, right? So that's what drives me, is really just making kids have opportunities, maybe make better decisions in life, and I think basketball is a good place to start.
Many players are committed to their school teams and are working to better themselves before the fall.
Most of these players do play high school basketball or even middle school basketball, so this is their off-season conditioning.
Surrounded by talent from across the Southeast United States, the Gainesville Storm, a team comprised of Gainesville High School's basketball players, took the court this weekend. They're playing to keep their skills sharp in the off-season and to prove that they have what it takes to compete at the highest level.
From the end of our high school season until the beginning of our high school season, that's a time where we want to really try to grow individually and give our guys as much experience as possible.
Coach Barnes took advantage of the players' ability as a chance to develop their skills and improve their team dynamics. After transferring to Gainesville High for his junior season, Aiden Bell knows the importance of teamwork.
We had a couple of transfers come in, including me. I was a transfer from PK Young. So we didn't have much chemistry going into the season. And then season ended, our record was 18-12, made it to the second round of the playoffs. And then, so here we are now. I think it's just building chemistry and trying to get everybody knowing plays and knowing each other as a team.
Hoop Fest is just the beginning for this team's off-season. They plan on attending many more tournaments in the coming months.
When June starts up, we'll have all of our guys, they'll take a break from travel ball and, we'll go to different tournaments, a couple here in town. We'll go to Florida State, we'll go to the Villages and play.
Gainesville High School hopes to improve after their work in the summer. The Hurricanes know they can make a deep postseason run and plan on pushing for a state championship.
We're going to be a better team. Some transfers coming in. But playing in this tournament and in the summer, in June, it's going to be very, very good for us, building team chemistry, and I think it's going to be pretty good.
For Reptile Report, I'm Nick Abreu.
From an undefeated winning streak to trips to the ER, the UF Women's Club water polo team had a memorable 2024 season. I caught up with the team as the girls hit the pool for one last time. As the spring semester comes to a close, so does the 2024 season for the UF Women's Club water polo team. The girls hit the pool one last time this spring for their last practice of the season. What usually is a scene of drills and conditioning at the Florida pool is for the day just fun in the sun. Seniors got to run their favorite games and scrimmage with the team for the last time.
I really have loved playing to the fullest here. I feel like I've gained everything that I have been able to get out of water polo here at UF, and I love playing with my girls. Like they're the best.
The Gators closed their season on April 14th, succumbing to a 10-9 loss in overtime against in-state rival, the Florida State Seminoles, in the regional final. After an undefeated season, it all went downhill for the Gators in enemy territory. A week before regionals, the Gators defeated the Seminoles in Orlando at the UCF tournament, but in Tallahassee, the Gators struggled to take the game. The regional final match was a fight to the finish as both teams gave it their all. Unfortunately for the Gators, key player Carolina Villarini suffered a back injury in the fourth quarter as the team was down 8-6 and had to be rushed to the ER. This comes as the second back injury to a UF Women's Club water polo player just this season. As a worried friend, teammate, and roommate, Camila Maya accompanied Villarini as the rest of the team regrouped back in the pool for an extra 15-minute break to re-warm up.
It was a little frustrating that we were losing two good players, but also the 15-minute break really helped us bond together. We were like, we got to do this for her, not only for her, but we're strong enough to do this.
The girls went on to tie the game 8-8 in a regular time, which ultimately led to a 10-9 loss in double overtime. With a bittersweet finale to their season, the girls feature what made this team so successful compared to years past.
I just highlight how the team dynamic has been so good this year. In the past we've had issues, but this year everything's so cohesive, everybody gets along. It's been a really good growth year. We're all getting so good at water polo, we're getting so good at being each other's friends, and it's just amazing to look back and see all the memories that we've had together this semester and this year.
The Gators will return to Florida Point in the summer as the club will continue to host practices twice a week starting May 13th. From Reptile Port, I'm Andrea Castiblanco.
Gainesville High School has a young baseball squad with lots of new faces. I got the chance to speak with the team about growing and improving in the coming years. The Gainesville Hurricanes are rebuilding their baseball team for the following years to come. The Canes are 7-13 on the season, but are surrounded by lots of young talent. Head coach Adrian Ramos says the team needs to take things one step at a time.
So we're in year 2 since taking over the program. We're very young, so we've had some ups and downs. The guys, they're doing a great job of learning the game right now. We definitely have played some tough competition, which they'll be better for ultimately. Really we have to remember that we've kind of thrown a lot of these kids right into the fire, and they've got to learn on the fly. With that, you're going to take your lumps sometimes, but there's always a lesson to be learned, and I think they're doing a great job of that.
Coach Ramos has been able to implement a lot of structure into the team. Junior transfer James O'Farrell says that this has significantly helped his development.
Coach Adrian was probably, I think, the first coach that I started training with outside of actual practices and everything. He's a great coach. I absolutely love him. I love how he coaches. I love how he brings structure to the team. He used to be in the military, so you can see the side of that sometimes. And since this is a younger team, he knows that for sure. There's a lot of sophomores, a lot of freshmen, not many juniors and seniors. I think he does good with a young team. He doesn't treat them like they're older. He kind of coaches them how they need to be coached mentally most of the time, but I've definitely developed more here than I have anywhere else.
Two of the emerging leaders on the team are sophomores Connor Kemp and Chris Eckhart. The two look to keep the team in check so they can keep moving forward.
Right now it's been an unfortunate season with just how young everyone is, but that shows that next year when everyone grows, gets stronger, gets faster, pitching comes in, we're going to have a shot at beating some of these top tier teams like Buchholz, Santa Fe. But I just see this year as a development year for all of our younger guys, which is a really much needed year.
We're a really young team, so me and Connor kind of got to step up and be the leaders of the team. We're both really young, but I think we do a pretty solid job at, doing our jobs, taking part and taking leadership as much as we can.
Keeping the other kids in check.
Yeah, we got to do that.
The Hurricanes are about to conclude their regular season and will then compete in the district playoffs. Well, that's it for this episode of the Reptile Report.
If you would like to watch previous versions of the Reptile Report, you can follow us at Reptile Report TV.
I'm Hannah Mack.
And I'm Andrea Casiblanco. Thanks for watching.